Hey folks, welcome back to Bro Do It Yourself. It's January the 24th. It's about 11 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday night. And it's like 40s in the 40s. It's been in the 40s for the last couple of days, and it's been in the minus digits the last couple of weeks. It's been just frigid cold here with a typical Midwest Southern Ohio climate. Um, every time I look at this aluminum grain scoop, I think about all my days in Montana. I made a lot of money with that grain scoop, but you got to wax those aluminum grain scoops. If you use steel, it's going to bulk you up pretty quick. So the aluminum was good. We made a lot of money shoveling snow off those roads out there in Whitefish. But you got to use skein wax on those grain shovels if you're going to use them for shoveling snow, because the snow will stick to them. That heat transfer and cold transfer happens. It's like carrying around a 15-pound sledgehammer. I was thinking about that because what I'm going to do is move all this crap over here as soon as I get this project done. But it always amazed me, just, the insanity of the government. Out there in Whitefish, Montana, those government buildings out there, the courthouses and all this stuff from the 30s and 40s, they all have flat roofs. In a northern environment, where they measure snow by the feet, not inches. It'd be nothing. We would go out and, my friend Bob and I, we would go out and shovel snow off of roofs, and they would wait till the rafters would start creaking. And they might have 6-8 feet of snow up. And the thing about it is the snow, because it was a temperate area up there, sure, we'd have frigid cold weather for a week or so up there, but a lot of times it'd be up and down because it was, the Rockies take kind of a dip on that area up there. So that means that it would, from the heat of the house and the temperate climate, like in the day it might get up to, in the low 30s or something, just enough for the snow to melt in the bottom layer, which means you had all that weight on the eaves. And, a lot of those houses didn't have steep pitches, and they just weren't set up. Like I said, the government buildings were flat. We made a lot of money, but, those people would need that snow removed, because they didn't want to have their house caved in. And we would do it, but we charge them pretty good. We made a lot of money with that shovel right there. But that's the only thing I'm going to really have to have access to. What I'm going to do is move all this stuff over there and get rid of this so I can start my quadruplex 12 gauge. I think I'm going to have 2 or 3 on this wall. And then I'm going to have the same thing on this side of mirror image. And I'm going to have 1 or 2 up there. Plus I'm going to have the power strips on the workbench. But before I do that, I think what I need to do is, since I know that I'm going to, because I'm just chomping at the bit to get rid of these bowling alley shelves. It's just stupid, wasted space. There's nothing but garbage on there. Haven't used the stuff behind there for years, a couple of years. It's just been, I know guys can take a drawer, stuff they haven't used, just dump it in a garbage can. I'm not like that, I know people that say, if I haven't used it in 6 months, I throw it away. Not me. I've had stuff for 16 years I haven't used, and I keep thinking about that one time I'm going to turn around, I'm going to need some. Stupid, but that's just the way we think. The reason I'm making this video is a little catch-up. All these lights are completed here. I have just completed this perimeter line. And this is the only section that I used Liquid-Tight. See, I had to make a breakover. I could have spent a lot of time heating up a piece of PVC, but I know how to use this stuff. It's fast. So if you ever get, I could have done a whole garage with Liquid-Tight. But it's flex. It's like this stuff. It's flex. It's just, I like the rigid look of straight lines of half-inch schedule 40. Anyway, I leapfrogged these. Where I had this one set up, I used like, what was it, 5 Wagos? There's 3 for the power, neutral, and ground, and then there's 2 for the driver. So I used 5 3-way Wagos. Was it 221s? And because it's those are made for 14 gauge. I think 14 and 12. They've got some Wagos for 10 gauge now. I don't think they've got a line-to-line 10 gauge. Ideal has. And then there was another brand that I had monkeying around. I'm going to use them up when I redo the house. But what I'm saying is you use a ton of Wagos. So I didn't use any Wagos here. Didn't have to. It was just running wires from that block to this block to this block. This one was done, but I had to run wires to this block, which took the same amount of 3-way Wagos. And I took my headlamp off so you can't hardly see that. But I think you might be able to see it better on camera than you can right there. So you've got as many Wagos. So you got 5, 10, 15, if I'm not mistaken. And then I'll have 20. And then I guess that's it, 20. And then I'll have X amount of Wagos there. Probably 25. I got a bag of, what was it, 30 of them? And kind of surprised me. I turned around and thought, my gosh, I've almost blasted through that. Here they are. How many have I got left? Well, I've got a bunch of them in my toolbox, my electric box, but how many of these? 221, 413s. Oh, I got 50 of them in there, so I've only got 15 or 20 of them. I got more in here. And then I've got another brand besides Ideal in here, which are these. It's nice for me to have the, these just take up more space than I wanted to use in the junction boxes. You see, I got more 3-ways here. I've got the inlines, and I've got another one of these boxes down below. It's got a whole set of them, 5-ways, all that stuff. But anyway, these are good. These will be good for the attic when I'm running lines, because I've got to separate my receptacles from my lighting from the 70s up there. Everything was on one stinking breaker. So that's a big job coming up. Once I get this last light taken care of, I've got my black in there. I need to run my ground and my neutral. And then I'll do the Wagos here. And I'll complete this circuit. Maybe have my videographer wife make a short blast on that one. Then I'll be done with the lights. And the reason I started with the lights initially, rather than start on this whole thing out here, is number one, I needed it. I was trying to do for years. I've been monkeying around with these lights here, trying to work and take transmissions out of Corvettes and work on that Escalade and just all kinds of Porsche work, just crazy amounts of automobile work in here. So much so that the creeper I had steel wheels, and it just dug paths around. We've done a lot of work in here, my father and I both. All the cars I've ever had and worked on up underneath, and then I went to Harbor Freight and got one of these and took care of that. Now I got to figure out how to fix this. I'll do that some other point. Maybe that's when I retire. But today, the reason I started this is because I had energy coming out here for this already. It's this line right here. And I will take that line and I'll feed right into my panel, sub panel. So, not so for the 12 gauge. I'll have to run a whole new line. New breakers. I don't know if I think I've got just enough room for the 115 amp and I think for 220 amps. Maybe that'll leave me one single phase slot left, because this is going to take a 30. These are going to, there's going to be, that's 130. There's two 50s here. And my compressor will need another 30. And that's going to take up at, what is it, 1224 or whatever. My Eaton box. The blessing about Eaton is that it shares Siemens breakers, and I've got a bunch of those. And anything that I got that's oddball that I'm going to end up selling is the Square D. I don't know why I thought I needed an outdoor Square D, because I got a GE original main load center down in the utility room with the what is the Reliance brand? I can't remember. CF. I think it's kind of like an Eaton as well. And then I've got the Siemens downstairs, and I'm coming out to this Eaton electrical box. I come inside to the. That's an outdoor box. That little emergency disconnect, 125 amp, and then this 125 amp service panel. What is it? Yeah, it's a 1224. And I was sitting there thinking, I thought, you can never have enough slots, but I can't imagine needing any more electric than what I got for a single car garage on a condominium. Should be just enough. Anyway, I'm glad that I could get out here around my work schedule and finally get this done. It's amazing to me how fast time flies and how slow this job has gone. And it just shows you I'm not a good tradesman in this. I could put together a jet engine in my sleep, but doing this kind of stuff, I guess it's because I'm kind of anal. And there's no set. It's like with a blueprint, you just emulate the blueprint. Doesn't matter if you're stacking rotors or building turbines or putting pumps together or any of that kind of stuff. Low pressure turbines, there's one way to do it, and that's the right way. There's no deviation from it. So you just do what you need to do. But here, and I mean, you get fast at it. But those are jet engines, It's the same way with a car, The only thing that messes me up about a car is having two sets of tools. I did that on that oil change the other day. It drove me nuts. I couldn't believe it. I was thinking about something else, of course. I'm never thinking about the job at hand when I'm not getting paid for it. So just got a lot of things clouding up my mind right now. So what I want to do, that's why I'm doing this, is that I'm going to retire. I don't have to think about much of anything, like remembering where my stinking jigsaw is. So sad. And I'll tell you what, with the battery technology, I might not have to worry about another corded. Well, I say that, and then I got this fuel, this M18 rear handle 7 1/4 inch circular saw, and I fired it up, and it doesn't seem to have the 15 amp torque that a corded does, even though it's got a worm gear. I'm going to give it a shot though, but I think I'm still going to reach out for the rear handle corded model as well. I've got these two. It's always served me well, but I don't want to have to mess around with that deck. When I want something, I want to grab it and not have to worry about the quality or setting the laser or, I want to have one that's for rough cut, one set up for like a framer, and then I want to have a couple of fine I've got the Diablo blades and all that stuff, Milwaukee blades for all that. Anyway, I'm getting off the topic again, and it's been a long time coming, folks. I'm really glad to be doing this. I'm glad that you're interested. And I don't get a lot of views, but the views I get, I can kind of imagine what it's like trying to listen to some knucklehead like me talk about something that's so insignificant as not having organization skills. But it's kind of fun doing this project. I mean, for crying out loud. I've really just kind of jumped in. I got sick of it, and here we are. So thanks for coming back to view, bro. Do it yourself. Because if I can do it, you can do it. And I know you can do it because I can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it, for crying out loud. It's not rocket science. Yes. But it is fun. So as long as you got the time, that's all it takes. All these Milwaukee tools have been used and used and used. I was amazed. I use this for everything from opening up new tools, packages, so I don't get frustrated, to cutting PVC, to it's crazy. Use it like a pair of scissors. I have not used this yet. I've not used the oscillating. I've got a M18. I've got a corded, and I've not used it once yet, so I haven't needed to. But I can see where I will. These tools, when I find out with the M12 Milwaukee's, is if you use them like you would use the M18s on station, you would be charging batteries all the time. With the M18s, the battery technology with that lithium is just amazing. They just go and go and go. And so with that, I'm going to cut this thing off, get back to work, and I'll talk to you guys later. And thanks for coming back. See you. Yep, getting done.